Bulls Nation, welcome to one of the very first videos that we'll be talking about in relation to the off-season and more importantly free agency. And again, we're going to be doing a lot of these videos with some of our players, if not most of our players, because there's very interesting topics to discuss, and overall we could have a very different squad to the one that you currently see by the beginning of next season. And it's going to be very interesting. Only time's going to tell who's going to be here and who's not going to be here. But a very important player, a player that has mixed reviews, mixed opinions. People love him, people hate him, and overall, what will his future be coming up to free agency? Today, we're going to be talking about Lauri Markkanen and all of the options I believe that could be presented to the Chicago Bulls in free agency in this video. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. Today, we've got a Chicago Bulls video in relation to one of the most controversial players on this team, Lauri Markkanen. What is his future going to be? Is it going to be with the Chicago Bulls? Is it going to be with a variety of other teams? And how is it going to happen? We're going to be talking about all these things in this video today. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about Lauri Markkanen. Overall, is he someone that you want to keep on the team? Is he someone you want to get rid of? Is he someone you want to do a sign and trade with? All of these things above. What would you like to do with Lauri Markkanen going into the future of this team and into the future of the NBA? Now, first things first, when it comes to Lauri Markkanen, I feel it's important to give my perspective on the player himself over the course of multiple years, but more specifically this year. I've always said I like Lauri Markkanen. I think he's a very talented player. I think he has high potential, and I think he could go to any team and do very well, and that includes the Chicago Bulls. However, this season he's had career lows in nearly every single aspect except for field goal percentage. He is currently averaging from this season 13.6 points per game, 5.3 rebounds per game, 0.9 assists per game, shooting 48% from the field, 40% from three, and that is his stats this year. And again, that a lot of that is coming off of the bench. He had to do major adjustments. Of course, first year under Billy Donovan, he's had a little bit more responsibility in terms of driving and in terms of actually going into the post a little bit more. All of these things he's had to adjust to and learn, and it's something that I'm very happy to see with Lauri Markkanen. Obviously, his three-point percentage has gone up dramatically by 4%. Very good to see for Lauri Markkanen. But again, his stats are at a career low, and a lot of that has to do with coming off of the bench. But regardless of that, this has not been a terrific season for Lauri Markkanen. I think we can all agree that Lauri Markkanen has had a very up and down year. So many times where he's not missing shots, where he's taking the right shots, he's taking the right advantages. We even saw him a little bit a small forward this year, and that was very interesting to see. But at the end of the day, it's been a very up and down season. Too many inconsistent moments. Too many moments where he's dropping 20, then other nights he's dropping 2. And that's something that has always been a struggle with Lauri Markkanen, at least for the past 2 years. And that seems to have not been changed. It seems to have not really been adjusted. And again, I always have faith that a player as talented as Lauri Markkanen can get things around and turn things around and become that very consistent player that we all want him to be. But in the end, it is safe to say, as a restricted free agent, as 4 years for the Chicago Bulls now, things have not really turned out the way that we expected. I think we all agree with the 7th pick, Lauri Markkanen, coming into the first 2 years. We had a tremendous player on our hands, someone that was really gifted offensively and had the world on his shoulders, and he could do no wrong. And unfortunately, these last 2 years have been kind of a hit in the face to many people, or maybe run into a brick wall, because you're starting to slowly see the reality. Lauri Markkanen might not be all that we want him to be. He still might be that player, and we all want him to be that player, but he just might not be the player that we all want him to be, or that we all want to see out of him. And that is something that's going to be hard to swallow. Some people might not agree with that. Some people might have to adjust to that. But at the end of the day, that is something that we're going to have to truly identify with Lauri Markkanen, and truly, hopefully, learn what type of player he will be. Again, this is his 4th year. This is the time where we should see what Lauri Markkanen is going to be throughout the course of his career. Now let's turn our heads into the off-season. Obviously, we talked about his last season. We've talked about him as a player, his inconsistencies, his struggle. But what about the off-season? What is going to happen with Lauri Markkanen? What should happen with Lauri Markkanen? So as you guys know, Lauri Markkanen is 24 years old. Lauri Markkanen is a restricted free agent. And if you don't know what restricted free agency is, basically can be a team that offers him a contract. It could be a contract between 10 million a year, 20 million a year, 25 million a year. A team offers him a contract, and then it's up to the Chicago Bulls whether they match the contract and give him the exact same contract and he remains in Chicago, or we decide to let him go to any team. It's basically not Lauri Markkanen's choice where he decides to go this season. That's basically it. There'll be teams interested in him. There'll be teams that are willing to give him contracts, but if the Chicago Bulls matches it, it's not Lauri Markkanen's choice if he comes back. He will have to come back, and if we don't match it, he has to go to the team that gives him the contract. It's basically not up to him, pretty much, is what I'm trying to say. That's the choice of restricted free agency. So again, should the Chicago Bulls bring back Lauri Markkanen? That's the big topic of discussion. That's the question that people want answered, and that's obviously an answer that the Chicago Bulls themselves will have to provide. What does Sartorius want to do with Lauri Markkanen? What does Eversley want to do with Lauri Markkanen? What does Billy Donovan want to do with Lauri Markkanen? All these questions will need to be answered and will be answered in this upcoming offseason. I first need to say, I always want players that want to be here and want to be in Chicago. That's the first thing I need to get out of the way. In the end, of course, you need to have a level of talent and a level of expectation when you're playing for such a historic team like Chicago and playing for some of the best fans, playing in the United Center. These are all historic things that many players would want to do throughout their career. Lauri Markkanen has had the privilege to do that. But again, it's all about if he's good enough and if he wants to be here. So again, I always want players that want to be here. I always want players that will speak highly about Chicago. I always want players that will give everything to this team and to make sure there's no stones left. There's no breath in your body. You give everything to the Chicago Bulls, and you give absolutely everything, and hopefully you get a bunch in return. And again, we haven't seen that over the course of years. We've not had enough good players. We've been struggling with wins and losses, and this is another season that's happened. And Lauri Markkanen has experienced 4 seasons of that now. So that's the first thing. I want Lauri Markkanen to be here. I like Lauri Markkanen because he likes Chicago, and I want Chicago Bulls players to be here. I want them to openly say they love Chicago. I love when people say that. Zach LaVine said it, and Lauri Markkanen has said it as well. So I will refuse to talk badly about Lauri Markkanen in terms of his character, in terms of his demeanor, when he's coming out and saying that he loves the Chicago Bulls. I will not do it. But is he good enough? That's the question. And the answer to that question, in my opinion, is he is good enough, but unfortunately, he's not good enough to do it consistently. That's kind of the level where I'm at right now with Lauri Markkanen. We've seen it all year. This is an experimental year. Obviously, a lot of players were inconsistent this year, and Lauri Markkanen fits right into that category. He was actually my disappointment of the year for the Chicago Bulls. And it's not because he's a bad player or he's the worst player on our team. It's the fact that he just could not find his consistency, and he had a lot of games to do it. He had played 51 games this year, and in 51 games he was inconsistent, and it was very upsetting to see for the majority. But he's had some great moments in this season, and it's not denying that he's really changed up his game to be more in the paint, more paint oriented, not just sitting in the 3 being a catch and shoot guy, but being able to drive, being able to go to the paint, being able to go into the post. All of these things that we don't see a lot from Lauri Markkanen, we started to see a little bit more. His shot selection has been immense, and again, it needs to continue to be worked on, and he can definitely get better at it. But again, I think he's good enough, but just not on consistency wise. And maybe for many people that is a deal breaker. For me, it's only a deal breaker if there's a team that's going to offer him 20 million or more. I said it before, 10 to 15 million a year for Lauri Markkanen is what I would give him. That's the max that I would go. I would not give him 20 million a year. I would not give him 25 million a year. If there's a team that's willing to do that, then I think it's time we let Lauri Markkanen go. But if it's between the 10 million and $15 million range per year, I would absolutely keep Lauri Markkanen on this team, because I just think there's still so much we've yet to see. There's still a player there that we can get. There's still a development in Lauri Markkanen that I don't think we can pass up. And plus, he's been on this team for a long time. He obviously loves playing for Chicago. He was willing to leave if there wasn't change. He obviously he has that type of mentality where he wants things to change. He wanted the front office to change. He wanted the coaching staff to change. And in the end, we gave that change, in my opinion, for Lauri Markkanen. So it'd be very sad to see him go after 1 year of this experiment. But again, personal feelings towards a player needs to be set aside. I've said I don't believe he's good enough consistently, and that's up to him to rectify. So if that means that he's going to get 20 million a year, it's time for Lauri Markkanen to leave. I'm not willing, and I hope the Bulls are not willing to overpay for Lauri Markkanen. I don't think that's the right way to go. But in the end, that's the situation that we're in, and that's the situation the Chicago Bulls are going to have to decide to do. Keep him if the price is right. But what if the price is wrong? What if Chicago Bulls are not interested in keeping Lauri Markkanen? What if any team out there right now that is thinking about getting Lauri Markkanen on a contract has an opportunity to do so without the Chicago Bulls resistance? Where could he go? Because in my opinion, there are a bunch of people right now that will be willing to give Lauri Markkanen a contract. And over the course of the year, I've heard from multiple teams that are interested in Lauri Markkanen. I can give you some teams, for example. Recently, the Sacramento Kings have been discussed as interested in Lauri Markkanen. Obviously, the Washington Wizards tried to get him in the trade deadline. The New Orleans Pelicans tried to get him in the trade deadline. The San Antonio Spurs are very high on Lauri Markkanen. And obviously, Dallas Mavericks is another team that's very high on Lauri Markkanen. So many teams out there will have a key interest in this type of player. So what should the outcome be? Well, there's always an option for a sign and trade. If you don't know what a sign and trade is, basically the Chicago Bulls will be able to sign him for the contract that, let's say, a team needs or a team would expect. They would sign him on that type of contract, and then they will trade him off. So, for example, if the Washington Wizards wanted to do a sign and trade and wanted to give us some players and we give them Lauri Markkanen, we would sign him for a contract that's eligible for the Wizards, we trade him away. And again, that's obviously going to be up to the Wizards to do that. They're going to have to put a contract in for us to match. All of these things, I hope that's how it works. If not, you can guys let me know how it works in the comments below. But a sign and trade is very likely. A sign and trade can happen. And in the end, a sign and trade is not bad for the Chicago Bulls because we could potentially get something good out of a sign and trade. So that is something to really look into if you're the Chicago Bulls and you don't really want to keep Lauri Markkanen on your team, but you don't want him to let him go for nothing. That's a very interesting way to look at someone like Lauri Markkanen. That could be something that the Pelicans could consider doing for Lonzo Ball as well, doing a sign and trade with another team. That could definitely happen for Lauri Markkanen and the Chicago Bulls. If we're not too keen on keeping him around in Chicago, then we could definitely look for a sign and trade. But what team would best suit Lauri Markkanen? In my opinion, you can't go wrong with the Dallas Mavericks. If the Dallas Mavericks are interested, they've done very well with European players over the course of many years. Dirk Nowitzki, obviously Luka Doncic now. I'm not really too keen on Kristaps Porzingis, to be honest, but Lauri Markkanen could fit into that mold as well. Dallas would be set. In terms of the offense, defensively, they'll still need to find some players there that are ready to play. But in the end, that is very interesting. Obviously, teams like the Spurs and having Lauri Markkanen under Greg Popovich would be very interesting as well to see how he would turn out as a player. If one of the best coaches of all time could get the best out of Lauri Markkanen. Obviously, he can stay in Chicago, as I've mentioned before. The Wizards were highly interested in him. I think it'd be very interesting for the Wizards. Again, we've done business with the Wizards before recently, and both of those players in Hutchison and Gafford have done tremendously well for them. So they might be looking to take some more of our players because they believe they can do something with them. That could be something for Lauri Markkanen as well. But ultimately, any team that's interested, I think they're going to have to overpay for Lauri Markkanen because I don't think we're going to give him away for nothing. I think if you're going to end up wanting Lauri Markkanen, you're going to have to spend 20 million or above. And I do think there'll be teams out there that are desperate to get someone of his talent. And talent speaks words. Potential speaks words. As many people say in the NBA today, from analysts to players, players are paid based on potential. They're not always based on what they are. They're based on the potential they bring to a team. Lauri Markkanen still has a tremendous upside. Lauri Markkanen still has tremendous potential. And Lauri Markkanen could get a big contract because of that. But in the end, I don't think that contract will be for the Chicago Bulls if they're going to go above 20 million. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. And that is my video on Lauri Markkanen today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. There'll be more to come with some of our other players. And we're going to have to wait and see how things go. We could have such a big difference in our team going forward. And we have some cap space to work with. We obviously have some players that can be kept and players that can be let go. And obviously Lauri Markkanen can be one of those players. So we have a lot to talk about. Have a wonderful and safe day. Take care.